Hello, everybody. It's Matthew Kelly again, and I'm here to present my persuasive speech for my speech class. Uh, One of the big topics, or my big topic that I'm presenting here today, is vaccinations for our kids. Are you for them, or are you not for them? Well, for those who know me, I'm for vaccinations. I believe that all kids should have vaccinations, especially if they're going to be out in the public, playing with my kids or my neighbor's kids, or you know, there's been a lot of cases here recently and in the last few years of uh, different groups and communities deciding not to vaccinate their kids. And then you hear these outbreaks of like the measles and the mumps and things that are controllable, but they're getting way out of hand because nobody's vaccinating. And this all came about from some of the age old arguments that we hear all the time. And starting off with the first one that I hear when I talk to a non vaccinator, that's what I call them, is that if you vaccinate your kids, they're going to get autism. Well, according to the sites that I visited here recently and where I got my information from, one of them was the Huffington Post, and another one was CNN uh, News, and a couple of other ones I can't think of off the top of my head. But what I have here says that according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, that there has been no direct link whatsoever showing or stating that the vaccinations that we provide our kids are causing autism. There's been over 40 studies done recently, releasing no whatsoever link between the two. Uh, Also, on that same note, we all know that if you don't get vaccinated, that you're that much more likely to get sick or get other people sick. Uh, I mean, that's just personal experience, and it's kind of a well-known fact, if you will. On the same topic, there's been one study, just so you think I'm not thinking that I'm being biased or anything, there's been one study that was out there that did come out and say that if you vaccinate your kids or that the vaccinations are linked to autism. Okay, well, there's been other things like the rise in organic food sales happened at the same time that the rise of autism in children came about. There's no link between organic food and autism, is there? And there's no one saying that there is. But for whatever reason, some people took heed of this Dr. Andrew Wakefield, and what he had to say. He used to reside in England, and the good doctors over there and the board over there, medical board over there, decided to go ahead and revoke and suspend his license, his doctorates. The reason being is because after this had come out, he had to repeal it, retract it, if you will, simply because the information and the facts that he provided turned out to be falsified, that he falsified and buttered up the numbers and everything. So, I mean, if you still want to go ahead and try or want to believe in what he had to say and his facts, then I mean, there's not much I can say, but that's probably not the best source of information. So, I'm going to move on next to my next argument here, and the next argument that I hear is that it's nobody's business whether I vaccinate my child or not. And what I have to say to you on this is, it is everybody's business. The newborns that are just being born or just coming about, they might be less than a year old. Okay, some of the vaccinations that our children are getting are for the older kids. That's why you have to get them at certain ages, because the younger kids their bodies can't handle them, or they're not supposed to take them. So, what happens whenever these non-vaccinating kids come around and have this particular strain of virus or disease, ends up passing on to a newborn or infant or things of those nature? Some kids might be allergic to the vaccination, so they can't take them. There's several reasons why some people can't take them, and I can understand that. But making the choice to not vaccinate your kids is playing Russian roulette, not only with your own kids, but with other bags. So, there's been studies that come out and said that the so-called herd immunity becomes null and void once the community has a overabundance of non-vaccinating children. So that what this means is once there are so many non-vaccinated children, they start getting sick and they start getting everybody else sick, and even the ones that are vaccinated, because by this time they've passed it around, it's mutated, and lo and behold, things that were once controllable are now not. So just keep that in mind whenever you decide to vaccinate or not vaccinate your children. I know it opened my eyes, and I've always been one of those to vaccinate my kids, anyways, because that's just my personal belief. So, on that note, I've got a post here that I've got off the Huffington and a couple of other ones. It's the same post on a couple of different websites, so I wanted to read it to you. It states, from the moment that babies are born, they're exposed to all sorts of illnesses, illness-causing viruses. Okay, so most doctors, this includes the CDC and the Institute of Medicine, they state that, or they all agree that a child's immune system can handle the immune stimulus antigens that the vaccines put into the body to fight the viruses and diseases. They say that a child's immune system can actually handle multiple different types of vaccines, and some of them 2 or 3 at a time, because I know my child's gotten a couple of vaccines at the same time. So, on top of that note, there's a Dr. Laurel Schultz, and she's based out of San Francisco. She wrote an article recently stating that children are exposed to more antigens in their own personal environment than they are in all of their vaccinations combined. That's almost 18 years of vaccinations, and they are exposed to more antigens in their own environment than what they will receive out of our vaccinations. And these vaccinations go a long way to improving people's health. The elderly, the young, those are two of the biggest ones. Yes, you can still get sick even though you're vaccinated. Yes, you should probably go get your flu shot. No, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you still get sick. But your chances of getting over it faster or even not contracting it go way up compared to not having it. Okay? On top of this, there are those who say that your immune system should be able to fight itself off. Okay, the study's been done that your immune system is just as strong, if not stronger, with the vaccinations in your system than without. Yes, you can contract the illness and then let your body fight it off if you're lucky enough to have your body fight it off. Yes, you'll build up an immunity to it, or be less likely to get sick again. Okay, well, the studies prove that there's literally very little difference between the two. So, this has been my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I was able to persuade a few of you to go ahead and get your children vaccinated. Personally, I know I would feel much better if you did. So, I hope you enjoyed my speech, and until next time, have a good evening.